Hello everyone. As they say, imitation is the best form of admiration. Better yet, to quote Paul McCartney as he was watching James Marshall Hendricks do a version of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, imitation is the ultimate compliment. In the guitar community, the term cover band doesn't gain as much respect as punk band from Brighton or rock band from Seattle. To those who don't know, a cover is someone's version of an existing song. Someone likes a song and liking it so much decides to try to play it. Given, some try to copy the song note for note, and some just wing it and end up with their own version of the song. Both kinds of covers have pros and cons, and I've heard both kinds that are equally good. Getting it down note for note is good training for the ear and guitar chops. Trying to make an exact copy of a song gives us a peek into the musical and technical skills of the original artist, the notes, the techniques, the timing, and so on. On the other hand, exercising artistic liberties on a song to make it our own develops our creativity on taking a musical concept and putting our spin on it. Meaning, doing a cover offers many different opportunities to learn by copying a song, either some insight into the original artist or to try to add something of our own into the song. And history has shown that some covers have become arguably better than the originals for as long as we recognize the original composers. There are some songs where to me each note is great and fits the song perfectly, and with these I try to copy note for note. However, some other songs have a few great parts but also other parts that are just fillers to kill time or take up space. And with these, we may want to provide our own versions that may sound better than the original. My rule of thumb is that if it sounds good, it stays, whether it's from the original artist or our own thing or something that we picked up from another artist. Regardless of how we do a cover, it takes effort, dedication, and respect for the artist and the song to do it justice. And to me, every musician began by copying others before him. The Beatles, the Stones, Hendrix, and everyone else. They began by standing on the shoulders of others before them, playing their versions of their favorite songs. And just like everyone else, I did the same, doing covers. Yes, being in a band would be ideal, but getting 4 or 5 dudes into a studio together is such a major production. On the contrary, picking up a guitar and my shorts at home and playing a complete song is so much easier. I find learning songs to be fun and fulfilling, in spite of the limited time I have and the relative difficulty of some songs that I try to learn. While I do my best to do justice to the song, it doesn't always work that way. The first person I try to impress is myself. If it doesn't sound right, I either drop it or shelve it for another day when I have more chops. If we want to cover a song, we better like it a lot because we'll be playing it over and over again until we get it right. There are 2 methods to learn covers. One is by ear and the other is by instruction. Learning by ear means listening to the song and matching the tones, note for note if possible, with whatever guitar skills we currently have. And that goes for everything, the singing, the guitar, and other instruments. In the 80s, learning by ear was tough because it meant playing and rewinding a cassette tape over and over again, wearing out the tape head until we could copy the clip just like how it sounded on the real thing. In the digital age, learning by ear is so much easier because it doesn't take much to swipe a bit left to replay a part of the song. It doesn't wear out any mechanical part, unlike in the old days of records and cassettes. Today in YouTube and in other apps, we can actually slow the speed down without changing the pitch of the song. The other method is learning from chord books and sheets, or for today, from their digital form on the internet. However, learning from chords, sheets, and transcriptions, from my experience, sometimes doesn't match with what I was hearing in the actual song. Maybe because there are so many instruments playing that something else is more dominant, say the bass or keyboards, or the instruction just wasn't right, or I was hearing differently. And transcribing is a human product, and unless the chords or tabs are from the original musicians themselves, there's some human error there. So I tend to combine both methods. I start with chords, but the final review is by ear. I'm less interested in the actual chord than how it sounds when I play it compared to the actual song. Meaning, for me, what I hear takes priority over what is published as the correct chord. At this point in my learning, I'm not too bothered if I seem to have the wrong chord, for as long as it sounds as close to the real song as I can make it, and I'm okay with that. For example, if you ask me what an E-flat minor 9 was like, I'd have to look it up Google, but I know I'm using a version of it in one song that I'm relearning. That may sound like laziness on my part, but for as long as it's close to the real thing, I'm good. Another reason why I do it this way is that I have no formal musical training. I don't know theory, I don't know scales, I don't know how to do fifths and thirds. But if you throw me a string of notes, pretty soon I can figure out how to play it. Between a stated chord and what I hear, I trust my ears more. Oh, and the relearning thing. When I finally learn a song well enough to record it on video, after a while, I forget the whole thing, and that is why I make videos of my covers, because if I forget the song, the video helps me to somehow patch it back together. Think of YouTube as the cloud for my covers. It's still not easy to recall, but having the video means that I don't have to start from zero. Today, in YouTube, there are some videos with a complete tutorial, walking us through all the chords, including where to place our fingers on the fretboard, and how to strum it, and musical notations, whether notes or tabs or chords at the bottom of the video. Sometimes we're lucky that even the actual artists themselves are giving the instruction. I use these videos too, only that sometimes I have to refer back to the actual song because something doesn't sound right. Except, of course, if it's the actual artist teaching. Even then, the guitarists are really good these days, and if we can't pull off what they're trying to make us do, we may have to find an easier way. And even at that, sometimes there is more than one guitar in the song, so we need to decide whose part to play, or to do the bass or keyboards instead, because they're the important part of the song at that point. Moving along, I think that almost anyone can play a cover. If someone can move his or her body to the beat and sing the national anthem or happy birthday in tune with the rest of the group, there is hope. Given we have different skill levels in playing and singing, we just have to make the best of what we have. When I started doing covers again a few years ago, I sounded terrible. My guitar playing was rusty, my singing was barely passable. Since then, my chops have improved, and my singing can now reach some higher notes. There's no better way to improve than to keep playing and practicing. In doing covers, for starters, we have the strum and sing variety. We play a chord, sing along with it, move on to the next chord, sing with it also, until we finish the song. You see the sky's in love with you. Yes, I'm in love, looks at you the way I do. When you smile, I can tell we know each other very well. then I show you, and then I got to know you, 'cause I heard some talk. They say you think I'm fine. I just sang and let the hands catch up with the singing. If we know the tempo and pacing of the song, that is more or less the right beat, and the guitar playing should just keep up. Now I think that I am a better guitar player than a singer, but singing the song even with my limited vocal skills completed the song, and singing set the pace of the song. Another tip I can offer is to complete the song, meaning learn to play the song from beginning to end. From my experience, it is better to start and end a simple song than to play 5 great intros and we cannot finish any one of them. Especially for covers, a song is an experience. Once we start it, we need to commit until the end. If we have an audience who knows the song, it's a bummer for them if we don't finish. For guitars, it is commonly advocated to play to a metronome, but since I sing the song also, I use that to keep time. Playing in time makes it easier to play with others, especially in a band. If everyone practiced with, say, the album version of the song, then chances are, in a jam when everyone shows up, it will work out okay. What is difficult is when we have our own timing or interpretation of the song that varies with the original song. That's going to be a hard fit in the band. I also make sure that the guitar is properly tuned before starting. I can't tell you how many videos I've watched that have been ruined because the guitars weren't in tune or the singing was off-key. A pickup demo, an amp or pedal demo, a cover, everything is lost if the instrument is not in tune. I use the same standard in listening to my own playing and to other videos, and I can tell that in some of my own videos my singing or playing is also off-key, and I know that they need improvement. After the strum and sing variety, we can now move on to more complicated songs as we develop more skills on the guitar and in singing. Eventually, we can add bits and pieces of rhythm, lead, bass, and singing at the same time. That is why 6 years ago, when I finally got to know Jimi Hendrix, he blew me away because he didn't care so much what was rhythm or lead, he just played. To get as close to the real song as possible, sometimes we also have to tinker with effects like distortion, tremolo, echo, reverb, and modulation. But I think the effect should fall behind the actual playing. No amp or pedal will save us if we don't have the notes right. However, there are just some songs that need more than one guy, so that's fine. Until we can figure out how to combine all the instruments with just one dude playing, we can always move on to another song. Here's an example of a song that just doesn't sound great with one guitar. I did this alone, no overdubs. Now this is the same song where I borrowed a drum cover and then layered on the bass and 2 guitars by myself. So now we have the range of covers, from simple campfire songs that just strum and sing, to songs with some degree of arrangement. The simplicity or complexity of a song also dictates the amount of time we need to learn and practice it. A simple song can take a couple of hours to learn. The more complex songs can take several days of 8-hour sessions to nail down. If we're just starting out, then simple songs will be great. I have no dislike for the simple songs. I just find them boring to play these days. Also, I had spent most of my youth with these songs, so it's alright for me to move on. Once we get bored of the simple songs and now desire for something more difficult, there are also a lot of complicated songs, or we can embellish a simple song and make it sound better. If we're just one guy trying to do a song with singing, 2 guitars, 1 bass, 1 drums, and a keyboard, here is the challenge. How do we play the song given that we are by our lonesome? Doing covers allows us to take apart a song and put it together again within the range of our limitations. And in doing this, we gain some experience in musical arrangement. A typical song is a string of interesting sounds played to a beat. Sometimes someone is singing to convey meaning or emotion. A song is produced to keep us engaged for the duration of the song, meaning, for that time, something interesting is always happening. In doing covers, we pick up those interesting sounds, whether it's the singing, the rhythm, the lead, and so on. It's not always just one part that's out front. When we have 3 interesting things out front, well, we'll have to make choices based on our skills on what we can play and cannot play. With this, we learn a bit of musical arrangement of the original song and gain a little skill on how to take the original and play it with a more limited skill set. I also tend to choose covers that are more radio-friendly or a song that is familiar to other people. Singing and playing at the same time is the musical equivalent of scratching our heads and rubbing our bellies at the same time. For me, it's a learned ability. At the start, it's going to sound terrible, but as we keep doing it, hopefully, we get the hang of playing and singing in time. For me, what helps the most is to listen to the actual song and figure out what chords fall on what lyrics. This is still not a guarantee, but it's a big help. I try to find a point in my strumming when I should start singing and just carry on from there. Learning to play a song is one part, and the second part is to learn to play it by heart. Meaning, we can start and finish the song without mistakes, without pausing, without trying to recall the lyrics, and so on. In recording videos of my covers, I play them back and check if my singing and playing is passable, and if the song sounds complete enough. If it doesn't sound good or complete, and I've done my best, I don't beat myself over it. Either I do it again with some improvement, or drop it for a while and try to revisit it some other time. I'm sure that my own covers have varying degrees of quality. Some are close to the real thing, while others are barely passable and require a redo. That's okay, because I'm sure that for as long as I keep practicing, I'm learning something and my playing and singing is getting better. In learning covers, we get to learn a few things: how to sing, how to play it on the guitar or the instrument of our choice, and how to do musical arrangements to make the song sound as complete as possible. In covers, we get a tiny peek into the artist and learn a little bit from him or her. And doing covers is the easiest way of us developing our musical skills. Even if we're not in a band, we're still moving forward. In doing covers, we also get a musical toolset that will allow us to ultimately compose our own songs. There are also other things like production on how to do parts of a song and put them together. Also, there is video production, which is entirely another field of which I'm not so good at. Still, learning how to play a song and to play it without errors from start to finish is something that I find fun and fulfilling. Never mind if I forget it a few days later. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you in my next video.